Okay, so I want to just talk briefly about autism and the gut. If you were to compare a 5-year-old boy's gut with that of an average child's an average 5-year-old boy's gut with a child same age boy on the spectrum, ASDs, autism, you're going to see some really drastic differences. One, the gut lining is going to be inflamed. Most likely, it's going to be inflamed. It's going to be unhealthy. It'll be scarred, and there's going to be what is known as increased intestinal permeability, otherwise called leaky gut. Doctors don't like hearing that, so they prefer increased intestinal permeability. This has a nice, more aristocratic ring to it. Two, there's a lot. The gut flora is going to be widely different. What they say in autism, especially with all these advanced testing, is that the gut flora of a child with autism is lacking some key microbes, key microbes, bacteria. There are about three of them that they identified, but there's a whole lot more. Also, there's an overabundance of certain other microbes, most especially yeast, candida, and clostridia. So they found out that's also a very high thing. Number three, the immune system is disarray. Is in disarray. When you look at the number of white blood cells and the differentials in the gut of the white blood cells. Number four, the enzyme activity is reduced. Enzyme activity is reduced. And of course, what we now know is that the bacteria themselves produce enzymes. So if your bacteria are different from that of a normal child or person, then the bacteria, the ability to digest stuff, especially when it comes to specific carbohydrates and specific, I believe, proteins. That's why gluten and soy and casein seem to give these kids trouble. There's another one which I have to mention. I'm trying to remember what that is now. Well, yeah, in the gut of the kids with autism, they have more of toxins, chemical toxins, and stuff like that. Yes, I remember now. Remember what they say about serotonin being produced in the guts? There seems to be some kind of deficiency when it comes to serotonin. Serotonin is responsible for not just brain development, but also for gut development and movement of stuff, particles, food particles through the gut. It plays a role in peristalsis, which is the pushing through of of food and you know poop through the until it gets to the anus. So serotonin, see, there seems to be a dysregulation. In some cases, it's elevated. In other cases, it is reduced, especially in the brain. So in the gut, it seems to be reduced. And over 90% of all serotonin in the body is produced in the gut. Again, that could be due to the activities of the microbes. So what we see in many cases, not most cases, but in many cases, there is a slowing down of the gut wall. In other words, food seems to stay more stagnant than the average kid's stool is. So one of the things that we do, and you may have seen this from our presentations, is to help to aid the movement of food particles through the digestive system so it's no longer stagnated. You've all heard that uh, um, vacuum. How's it put now? Vacuum. Nature hates a vacuum. That's it. Nature hates a vacuum. Well, if it hates a vacuum, it hates stasis even more. So we want to make sure that things are moving right along through the gut. And once we do that, we see almost instantaneously that the kids begin to open up. They become more aware of their surroundings. They become nicer. They become more, affectionate than otherwise. So those are the four lessons I want you to learn from this thing. The gut is affected in autism. In fact, that's the only thing we learned in medical school that I can remember about autism. It was a gut problem, an autoimmune problem that where the immune cells attacked the lining of the gut. Now, these other things that I've just talked about came in much later, but you need to remember that if you are not going to help your child who has autism, if you are not focused on the gut, you've got to start with the gut first. Every other thing is secondary to that. Got it? All right. Take care. Bye.